communities, certainly where I was working, I think lots of other people felt that as well, that there was a lot of anxiety going on, and there was a lot of maybe just not trusting that even though it was summer and that things were kind of opening back up, that they might close again. So there's a lot of that kind of feeling of, if we're going to start something, it might get stopped again. So I think that was something that we were all really aware of, and felt that it was important to do things really slowly and try and just encourage people to get out and about. And actually talking about groups and talking about big celebratory events felt much further down the line this year. Almost kind of just this summer and this spring has kind of felt like that's the right time to do that. So it was really slow start. Getting just 2 or 3 people together felt really monumental, I think, for a lot of people who hadn't potentially been out of the house for like 2 years.
Like in Abbeydale, the second lockdown, a lot of people was more reluctant to engage, and a lot of the things that started had closed down, and even now some of them have not opened up, and people just reluctant to engage. It just takes a time to build that up. Like for example, they had some events at the community centre. They were closed down, but one of the good things that the church out there has opened up even during lockdown to all the communities, but other areas wasn't.
Being outside was really important. People found green spaces much more valuable than maybe before. And actually, if you look at the stuff that we have been doing in the last year, a lot of stuff is revolved around exercise, around green spaces, around wildlife, around the outdoors. And it does feel like we've kind of focused on that stuff that kind of lockdown brought to light, I suppose, a little bit, and actually that we were allowed to do as well, and kind of putting on to that momentum that the lockdowns brought. I definitely think has influenced our work for sure in the last year.
One of the areas I worked in, there was quite a lot of people who knew each other, and actually that helped. So even though I was in there, actually I wasn't necessarily needed in that sense, but I was just there, I suppose, checking in on people like we all have during the COVID times, with people who may be vulnerable, a bit sort of struggling mental health wise, and actually just encouraging people. So one of the areas we talked around was exercise, doing stuff like that. So one thing that they did was just organise a very informal kind of walking kind of tour of the area with gardens linked in and other people, and that was really a simple thing. I think even Karina popped into that, didn't you, Karina? And it was like 140 people across the day, all following the right procedures with COVID, but they actually thought we can do this together, even though they weren't all together, but they could wave across the street, or as they went in somebody's garden at the back, they were spaced out, but they could, and that was partly because the creativity of thinking, actually, what can we still do? We still want to stay connected. They sort of knew each other a little bit, and actually when 1 or 2, it had like a springboard effect. So that was encouraging to see, and I think that's what, I suppose, as we work, we know that actually it does take a bit of time with trust and relationships, but it's good to see actually when we weren't there, or when we weren't out and about, people were just getting on, which for me is a great sign. That's what we're there for, really, just to encourage those connections.
And I think that's the beauty of community building, is that in a sense we target, or we intentionally try and get people together around their passion and their hobbies and things they want to do, rather than going in with an agenda. Because as Matt said, the point is that we can slowly withdraw from the community and the activity remains. It doesn't fall apart because we leave.
Yeah, we wanted to replant the trees that were pulled up and plant some flowers and things.
But lacked lawnmowers, skills, probably.
The ability to do it by themselves. So if we could find some either adults within our ward or adults from your guys' wards to come and help us, that'd be great. Because they were like, well, we want to, but we can't do that. I'm like, well, you can do that, but we need to help you to find a way to do that. It's just about getting them a bit more included with their older residents, and getting them more involved in that community, because they have their little communities of their own. Like, there's a group at the court, there's a group at the pond, there's a group, but there's never any adults that they engage with. So maybe encouraging that engagement. If, someone could mow the grass, and that would be a way in, or someone knows about the pond. They want to clear out their pond and do the reeds and that. So if there's an adult there that knows how to do that, just encourage that and get everyone involved.
So they feel more connected to their community.
just from yesterday, asking them like, is there anything else they do besides going fishing or playing at the basketball court? They just would keep quiet. So, and the common answer from a lot of adults and elderly people in the community is that, you know, the young people have nothing to do.
Okay.
It seems to be a common like answer from everyone. So I guess it's to help them like facilitate, you know, activities, and I guess also just encourage them to like go to things like Echoes and find stuff to do around the youth centre as well.
Yeah.
So that would be something good for them to do after school and maybe during holidays as well.
The most important thing would be for the resident to not feel that they need permission to do things. Is to actually just go out and do it, you know, talk to their neighbours, talk to, you know, other people, and just start something and just figure it out as they go along. But just have that permission and that confidence to do it, to make that first step.
Building on that, for me, I think I would love to see more activism, I suppose. I think, you know, we're a strength-based organisation, but we recognise that challenges exist in the world, and we really want to kind of help and encourage residents to look at those challenges and see, like, you know, shout about them or moan about them, or, you know, try and make a life that's better for them. And I think that's things that are important to them.
I hope as well for more connections, I would say intergenerations. I'm very passionate about intergenerations, so I can see intergenerations, so I can see already the positive impact of generations, so different ages connecting in one under one welcoming space, because the older. And I think it's very important to create the spaces so people can come despite age, just something what they would like to do. Conversations can bring so many opportunities and so many solutions as well.
We know that this year is going to be tough financially for families, poverty and stuff like that, but it's being sensitive to that, because that is priority. They're not wanting to maybe go for a walk or do stuff like that, but we also know that actually for mental health wise, they still need that connection. Otherwise we all go back into ourselves, and then we're going to feel really isolated and low again.
We call ourselves a group.
Yeah.
We're not a club.
Yeah.
Everybody's the boss.
Yeah.
And we just get ideas from one another.
Yeah.
We're doing holidays, we do walks. We're planning to do the cinema.
Yeah.
And anything else that anybody wants to do, that'd be great.
A mixed age group, enjoy each other's company, meet up for a coffee.
Long Levens Community Centre has started opening up having coffee mornings. So I said to Jerry, come and meet me here. Let's have a look at this place. And he came with John, liked the place.
And it was actually Karina that came in and saw me and Kate to help to sort of say, hey, look, could we do something? And we were like, yeah, you know, fantastic. This is what we're looking for. I think originally there was probably about 5 or 6 of them. And then, over the weeks, it's just grown and grown. And I think there must be around about, I think there's over 25 of them of their club now, which is fantastic. And you can see it's a mixture of all ages, all backgrounds, and they come together and complement each other so well. And you can see the confidence it's given them. They're absolutely fantastic. We love having them here.
Well, we started from another group. When the lockdown came along, we sort of lost contact with one another. And then back in June of last year, people were asking when are we going to start again? And I said, I don't know. And they said, well, could you find out? So I did my best to find out, but I found that there was no one to answer the question.
And you mentioned Karina. Now she's a community builder, community connector in this area. Has it been good to have somebody like that?
Oh, absolutely essential, yes. She's done a wonderful job.
And what does she do? Is it just encouragement and signposts? Or?
Without her, this group would never be. And she found a space for us to be here.
But actually, it's you guys who are running it. She just helped you open the door, really, wasn't it?
Definitely, yes.
What are some things you're looking forward to with this group?
We're able to do more things now. We're having a holiday together in Scotland and Perth.
Wow.
And we're going to have days out. We're hoping to get a minibus, but we need a driver for it.
Okay.
And we can do a lot of local things.
Yeah.
Maybe a trip to Western, things like that.
It's really, really lovely to see people engaging. And then the other thing I like is they are promoting themselves. They're doing things, let's go and do this. Gloucester Wildlife Trust has a walk. Let's go and do it. So there's a group of them going off doing things like this. There's none of this hierarchy. They just get on and do it, which is lovely. I think it's not because of me, it's because of a community builder being present. We did the hard work of mapping what's available. I was then able to link Jerry up. I linked Jerry up, and some of my residents that I know about who would benefit from it. So there's me linking them, Jerry linking his group that they used to meet in the library. So it's all the linking bit together, and linking them all together.
We're all widowed and widowers, and we meet up with one another for holidays, days out, things to do. And we're a very happy group, actually. People are looking forward to this group. Some of them don't want to go home. And Christmas, I mean, we had an Elvis impersonator, and everybody was dancing in this hall, actually. We were having a great time. And we had a lovely Christmas dinner.
It's important for my mental health. I retired from work just over 2 years ago, where I was in the thick of things. Always dealing with members of the public and things like that, and then it went really quiet, and I think everybody's mental health suffered because of the lockdown. So when the group started, I thought, well, why not?
People don't know what's actually happening in their area, but because my job was to find out what's going on, I was able then to link people to it. When I asked the question, nothing's happening, I said, well, actually there is, what do you want to do? Yeah, so they tell me what they want to do. I say, how about you trying this one and that one? Go and give them a go. If you're a bit weary, I'll come along with you. I'll introduce you to them, and we'll go from there. And then when they're comfortable, you walk away, but still there if they needed to chat to. Yeah. So yeah, as a community builder, definitely I can recommend. Have one in your ward.